This tutorial is designed to help you with calculating work from a scientific perspective. Work equals the force applied to the object times the distance that object moves. Just to refresh our memories, work is measured in joules, force is in newtons, distance is in meters. Make sure that you fully understand that when you apply a force to an object, the object has got to move in the direction of that applied force or that net force in order for us to determine that work has been done. Now let's do a practice problem. Let's assume that this is 100 newtons of force and the total distance the object moved is going to be 5 meters. Let's plug that into the formula. 100 newtons times 5 meters is going to give us 500 newton meters. But we've learned that we convert the newton meter to a joule, so we've got 500 joules. Remember that we use simple machines to help us do work. So we need to be able to differentiate between work in and work out. Let's look at this example here. Here we have an example of a first class lever. And this is going to help us do work. This here is our effort, also known as our input force, and this is our load, also known as our output force. We're going to assume that it is either inconvenient or too difficult to lift that load. So we're going to have to do work on the machine and then have the machine do work on the load. This side of your machine is called work input or input work, either way. This is your work output. Okay, so when we're looking at the difference here, we're working on the machine, it's working on the object. We want to make sure that this machine helps us as much as possible by decreasing the amount of force required to lift the load. So for example, if the load is 100 newtons and the goal is to get that to go up 2 meters, we can calculate our output work. Remember, work is force times distance, so our output work is going to be the output force, which is 100 newtons, times the 2 meters. So our output work is going to be 200 joules. Now we know how much work is going to be done. We have to do 200 joules of work on the input side as well. So we already know work is force times distance. We know we have 200 joules of work that needs to be done. Let's see what our force and distance need to be. Let's say that I can only apply 10 newtons of force because I'm not very strong. How far am I going to have to move that to get to 200? Well, use your simple math. That should be 20 meters. So we have 10 newtons times 20 meters. That's going to give us 200 joules of work. This machine has made work easier by allowing us to put in much less force than is required to do a deadlift. So we just defined simple mechanical advantage using a simple machine. The next tutorial will help you with mechanical advantage.